Hi, I'm Chine and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about ScentXplore. If you're a returning viewer, hello, hi, thank you for joining us. And if you're new, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. ScentXplore is in about a week at this point. Today is Thanksgiving. And as someone that went to ScentXplore for the first time last year and I went solo, these are some of the things that I think that you should do. Starting off with what the heck is ScentXplore? So ScentXplore is like an expo. There are so many different opportunities for fragrance lovers around the world to connect. So you see stuff like ScentXplore in December in the US. You have Exxon, which is usually in March in Milan. There's also some events, I think, in Shanghai. There are also some events like the tax-free weekend in Cannes, which is usually, I think, September, October. So there's so many different opportunities for fragrance lovers to come together. A lot of these events were kind of reserved for people in perfumery, people that were in the sale, design, direction, like people in the business of perfumery. But with the proliferation of perfume talk, more normal people getting into perfume, they have also become a bit more common, a bit more popular, and a great way to be able to smell a bunch of fragrances and connect with other like-minded perfume enthusiasts. So yeah, if you live in the US and you're a perfume lover, ScentXplore is a great one to participate in. I have my iPad here. So this year's ScentXplore takes place Thursday, December 4th, all the way to Saturday. And it's going to be in New York City. I don't think you can buy tickets at this point. I believe the tickets have sold out, but tickets were still available well into November. So if you're trying to plan for next year, I suggest you get on it. The tickets usually drop in June or July. You're going to hear about it. People are going to post about it on TikTok. The ScentXplore page on Instagram is also going to post whenever the tickets go live. So if you want to start planning ahead for next year, this is a great time because New York City in December is expensive. Between the flights, the hotels, the amount of money you're going to spend on perfume, it gets ridiculous really fast. So if you've never been to ScentXplore and this is your first time and you're trying to get an idea of how it works, like what is the vibe. So they're changing the venue this year, but last year, think of like an undergrad career expo. Like if you ever went to Nesby or Sui, all the different companies, all the different perfume houses have booths and you just kind of like walk around and you smell and they have test strips. They might have pens. They don't all have pens. You get to talk to the people representing the brand. Sometimes it's the founders, sometimes it's the marketing people, other times like the social media people. It's a wide array of people, but it's not like a one-on-one thing. So you're not going to get to a booth and they're going to give you like a one-on-one walk through the brand. You might be lucky. I got that a couple of times, depending on like what time I went, how busy the booth was, how interested they were in talking with me. But if you don't get that, it's because that is not exactly the style of ScentXplore, right? Like they're trying to get as many people as possible to smell their creations, walk them through their products. So you might just walk up to a booth while the demonstration is going on and they'll include you and they'll talk about the fragrances. You can ask questions and stuff like that. But it's by no means like a one-on-one masterclass style thing. No. Manage your expectations. Another thing that is worth knowing about ScentXplore is that beyond the ability to smell fragrances, they also have sessions on the side. So when the session starts, they are not going to get a mic and say the session is starting. You have to look at the website to know when the sessions are, which rooms they are going to be in, and then make a plan to move over to the session rooms. I will say that the session rooms are a lot smaller than you would think. They fill up really fast, and very often when I would go, people are like standing towards the back. So if you really want to attend, you really want to get a good seat, maybe go to the session room way before the actual session time so that you can get a good seat. Looking at the ScentXplore website, I didn't attend any sessions last year. That wasn't really of interest to me. I was just more focused on like smelling as much as I could smell. But if you're curious about what kind of sessions they have, it's all on the website. Some of them are hosted by like perfumers, others are hosted by the brand. I can see that Amouage has one on Real versus Replica. Oh my God, Arquise is having one with Rodrigo Flores Rue. That sounds interesting. It's called Crafting Mexican Identity in a New World of Perfume. Like any other expo, you are allowed to leave and come back as often, I guess, as you like. But each time you leave, you have to join the queue again from the beginning. From my experience last year, the first day was insane. Like apparently the line to get in on the first day is bananas. So I would recommend if you're going on the first day, maybe don't get there when they open exactly at noon. I don't know, maybe wait like an hour or something because it's likely to be very packed. Okay, so I feel like I have kind of covered the general idea. What is ScentXplore? How does it work? What does it look like? Let's get into the tips. Number one, wear comfortable shoes. I don't know about this year because again, they are changing the venue, but last year there was literally nowhere to sit. I don't say that to mean there were chairs, but they were all taken. No, I say that to mean that there were literally no chairs. So unless you were working at the booth of a brand, maybe they had a stool behind their booth. But for the rest of us normies, there was literally nowhere to sit. So wear comfortable shoes. I recommend you wear trainers. I recommend you don't wear like leather loafers unless like you're very comfortable, because if you're not familiar with the cold, leather shoes hurt when it's really cold. You're gonna wear high-heeled boots. Make sure they are high-heeled boots that you can wear and be on your feet for 6 hours, because you do not even get a second of sitting down. Number 2, it is New York in December. I know you see all the cute fall like Pinterest outfits. For the love of God, please dress appropriately for the weather. They are going to have a coat check. I don't remember from last year if it was free or if it wasn't. And if you're not familiar with like the New York City weather kind of situation, it's freezing, it might be windy, it might snow. If you're someone that isn't very familiar with winters, I recommend you go on Uniqlo. This is Black Friday weekend. I'm sure they have a sale going on. Buy yourself some Heat Tech Ultra Warm. It feels like a very light material, and they have it in a long sleeve, a tank top, a short sleeve. They have it in leggings, and it's perfect for insulating and keeping you warm on the coldest days. Another thing I will say is that there are so many brands that are going to be at ScentXplore. I don't remember exactly how many, but one thing you have to accept right now is that you cannot smell every single thing. And if you want to make the most out of your experience, you have to go in with a plan. Last time you walk into the room, obviously these brands pay to be there. So I guess the more you pay, like the better a spot you get. So if you just go in following the path that they have created, you might end up missing out on some hidden gem fragrances or hidden gem brands. You might be stuck at the back because they couldn't pay the premium to be in the front. So my recommendation to you is go on the website of ScentXplore, go through the list of the brands that are going to be there, maybe take it a step further and go on their website and write down the fragrances from those brands that you really want to try. And that should be your game plan for going into the event. So when you're done exploring those fragrances that you absolutely have to try, then you have 2 more days and you can go around and you can play and you can smell things for fun. And it might not matter as much if you can smell or not smell, but at least you would have honored yourself by getting to smell the fragrances that you really wanted to smell. I've taken a look at the list of the brands that are going to be attending. Some lesser known brands that I think are definitely worth visiting: House of Ira. House of Ira, I believe, has 5 fragrances, and they have something for everyone, maybe except like gourmand girlies. They don't really have a gourmand fragrance, but Act 1 is great for someone that loves a freshie, someone that loves a more minimalistic fragrance. Fun fact, the fragrance was created because the founder was told at work that people didn't like her perfume, like they thought she wore too much perfume, so she made a work appropriate scent. Symphony, which is kind of like saffron and dried wood and a little bit fruity, and then there's like oud. It's kind of in the family of like Blonde Amber by Clive Christian, but I would say a little bit more feminine and a little bit fruitier. So if that sounds like a vibe, definitely check that. Another brand I think you should check out is Curatrix. Curatrix is going to be at ScentXplore. I think this is their first year, and they have a stunning collection. But my personal favorite is Deadly Nightcap. It's like a gin kind of cocktail fragrance, but it also has like an orange sorbet vibe going on. It's not too boozy because it's not your traditional like dark liquor. It's also not too like gourmand and like super sweet. They also have this fragrance called Foreshadow, which is what I would call like a clean girl take on a dark and mysterious fragrance. It smells like you just took the best everything shower and then you put like Bacor in your hair. Another brand I think is definitely worth checking out is Arquiste. I really got to discover them at ScentXplore last year. Their fragrances are very inspired. You can tell when you smell a perfume and you know that this person is not following trends. They are staying very true to like their vision for their brand. Whenever I smell an Arquiste creation, it's rare that I smell it and I think, yeah, I feel like you're trying to copy that or like that. Like, no. Speaking of brands that are going to be at ScentXplore, if you are registered, you are eligible to vote for the awards. They have so many different categories for awards: best niche fragrance, best like digital creator, like the house that has shown the most innovation, best perfumer, even best retailer for fragrances. So if you're registered, definitely check your email to see the instructions of how you can vote. Vote House of Ira for the best new fragrance brand. So bring a pen. You are going to get so many different test strips. It's going to be so much easier for you to get home and figure out things if they are labeled. So bring a pen so that you can label your test strips. And pro tip, try to write a phrase about the fragrance that stands out to you so that at the end of the day, hours later, if you're still able to smell the test strip, maybe that phrase or like that description would help you figure out which fragrance is which. Another thing, ask for samples. The brands at ScentXplore last year were super generous. I'm talking about, I asked for a sample, I would get a discovery set. People would be giving out samples like willy-nilly. It wasn't really a big deal. You didn't also need to purchase from the brand to get a sample. So the reason I say get samples is because personally, I'm not the biggest fan of buying anything on the spot. And in a space like that, where people are spraying so many different fragrances, you might not really be sure what you're smelling. So always ask for a sample, take it home, in a new environment without all the different fragrances in the air. Try out the fragrance on your own time and then figure out if you like the fragrance, and if you like the fragrance, come back and get it the next day. But the only time I would say maybe hurry up is on the second day, because I remember some people I was hanging out with going back to brands on the third day and they had sold out of bottles of the fragrance that they wanted to buy, which is not a big deal. Many times they still have stock online, and every brand that comes to ScentXplore gives you 20% off that is valid for the entire weekend. So even though the fragrance you want might be sold out from the brand, take the coupon, order it online, and get it in your house. Like, in the end, you still have the bottle of perfume. Sure, you're not buying it at the convention, but like, who cares? Another thing, be very selective on the fragrances that you decide to apply on your skin. You have very limited real estate when it comes to applying fragrance. Last year at ScentXplore was, I really took it to new levels. Like, I took it to new heights. In between my fingers, I would put on this side of my finger, then on this side of my finger. Like, I took it very far. And maybe, I don't know, bring wipes or something so that you can like wipe off fragrances that you have already experienced and you're moving on to try new things. But my point is, be selective of the fragrances that you put on your skin. And speaking of these fragrances smelling good, these fragrances were designed to smell good. If majority of them did not smell good to majority of people, we have a problem. So a fragrance smelling good should not be the only criteria to determine if you are going to buy a fragrance. I don't know, be a bit more selective with what you try on your skin, be a bit more selective with what you buy. Now, this is especially for the people that are going solo. Do not be afraid to say hello or hi to people. Even if there are people that you do not have a very good like one-on-one relationship with. I don't mean good like you talk shit about them and then you see them and say hello. I do not mean that. If you talk smack about me online, maintain that in person. I'm talking about like you are not actually friends, right? Like, oh, I don't want to see him parasocial. You know, you comment on their stuff, you interact with their content, but you've never maybe like DM'd them, you know, you guys are not actual like friends. I would still say hello, because a lot of the girlies were really nice and they would welcome you into their conversations. Like, I met Melissa, she introduced me to like a bunch of other people, and that's how I was like grandfathered into their little circle, and I had a great time. They might invite you to their dinner plans, they might invite you to other things going on, they might invite you to go sniffing at Bergdorf or at Scentbar or at Stell or at Oswald or so many of the other perfume places beyond ScentXplore. So all of that to say, keep an open mind. I know that's easy to say as an extrovert, I can forever, but most of the girlies were nice. So I will say, actually not most, all the girlies I met were nice, keeping it a buck with you. So I would say still say hello to them, and you never know, you might make a new friend. Speaking of exploring beyond ScentXplore, please go to Bergdorf Goodman. I know that everybody is going to go to Scentbar because Scentbar is like Lucky Scent's physical store. I have visited Scentbar, Stell, Bergdorf, a lot of other places. They all kind of have their pros and cons. My number one con for like somewhere like Stell is that you're not allowed to touch the bottles and they have to like spray it for you. I don't know. I don't really like that whole setup. But the people were really nice and they will come by and spray the fragrance on for you. But I feel like it's making their lives more difficult than it needs to be. Like, I could just spray it myself, especially when the store is busy. So like, that's a con. But if you're really into like, I don't want to use the word ultra niche, but like really, really niche fragrances, you're not going to go to Stell and find like Perfumes de Marly. You're going to find like the more underground, niche, indie kind of fragrances. Maybe more so indie than niche. I don't really know, but you know what I mean. Like, these are fragrances that you most likely are not going to find at a regular department store. I think like the most mainstream fragrance they carry is like Arquiste. So Scentbar, Lucky Scent, is set up like a bar. So they have shelves for like the different families of fragrances like Boozy, Divine Feminine, blah, blah, blah. The bottles aren't there for you to touch, but if they bring the bottles down to the table for you, then obviously you can hold them in your hand and record and blah, blah, blah. I will say that one thing Scentbar is really good about is a curated experience. If there is a specific type of vibe you are going for, want to really delve and understand maybe like a particular note, they're going to be able to show you different ways like chocolate, patchouli, vanilla can be done to give you a deeper appreciation and understanding of the note. And also Scentbar has a good mix of like popular on TikTok, but also like niche and also like indie. They now carry Source, so if you've never smelled any of the Source fragrances, that would be a great place to smell them. Now, if you want to have a traditional perfume shopping experience, you walk around so many different tables and brands, you can touch the bottles, do whatever you want, douse yourself in the fragrance, go to Bergdorf. Bergdorf is a heaven for niche, luxury, designer luxury fragrances. So you have House of Beau. If you've never had the opportunity to smell House of Beau, Go to Bergdorf, they have all the House of Gold fragrances. They also have some of the niche fragrances that are not available at your like typical Neiman Marcus. They have Guerlain, they have Armani Privé, they have a very extensive Ex Nihilo line. They have Dries Van Noten. I'm going to repeat that. They have Dries Van Noten. If you go to the Dries Van Noten counter, say hello to Manny. I'm going to put his info on the screen. They are also going to be running a promo some days before ScentXplore. Unfortunately, it ends the day before ScentXplore. But if you text him, you can place your order and pick it up during ScentXplore, which is what I did. So yeah, I think that is everything. I hope that this video was helpful. Oh, I forgot. The Dry Down Club is having a couple of events. I think the only event that still has tickets is their mixer. So it's a mixer on the last night. It's on the Saturday night at the end of ScentXplore. It's very beautiful. If you don't follow Paola and Emily on social media, they are gems in the perfume TikTok space, and they are the ones organizing. So you know it's going to be good, because whenever people that do perfume related things are actually members of the perfume community, you can see it in the way things play out. You can see it in the way the brand does things. You can see it in the way their perfumes are executed. And when they host events, you can tell that this was hosted by a genuine fragrance lover. So if you haven't got to your ticket yet, the tickets are $120 on their website. I'm going to link it in the description. Please grab a ticket. It's going to be a nice way to socialize with so many of the Perfume Talk girlies all in one place without a lot of pressure. Anyhow, I hope that these tips were helpful. If you enjoyed this video or you found any value in the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue to grow this channel. If you're going to be attending ScentXplore this year in New York City, let us know in the comments, and see you